headlines of this hour on VTV News. Party chief holds phone talks with Singapore's ruling party. And Vietnamese military art, a height of wisdom and bravery. And in a world news, Thailand hosts regional talks on Myanmar's situation.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good morning. It's now 8 a.m. local time and you're watching VTV News. I'm Phie with the latest updates. Holding talks with Singaporean Prime Minister Lawrence Wong on Friday, Party General Secretary To Lam congratulated Wong on his new role and emphasized Vietnam's dedication to strengthening its strategic partnership with Singapore. He proposed enhanced collaboration in areas like digital transformation, renewable energy, defense, and security, including integrating SingPass and VNeID. Prime Minister Wong welcomed these initiatives and highlighted Singaporean businesses' interest in expanding investment in Vietnam, focusing on renewable energy and high-tech industrial parks. On this occasion, Prime Minister Wong invited the Vietnamese party chief and spouse to visit Singapore in 2025. The invitation was gladly accepted, with a reciprocal invite extended to the Singaporean leader and spouse to visit Vietnam. Receiving outgoing Australian Ambassador Andrew Golet-Ginowski on Friday, State President Leung Keung highlighted the two countries' strategic trust, shared vision, and desire to deepen ties for peace and stability. The ambassador noted significant progress in bilateral relations, including his term during activities celebrated the 50th anniversary of diplomatic ties and frequent high-level visits. The state president praised the establishment of the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership in March as a significant milestone, enabling both nations to deepen cooperation further. He expressed confidence that the Australian ambassador, with his experience and dedication, will continue to promote bilateral relations in the future. A press conference has recently been held to announce the presidential order on the promulgation of laws passed by the 15th Tenor National Assembly at its 8th session. The announced law include the law on cultural heritage, the law on value-added tax, the law on urban and rural planning, the law on notary, the law on trade unions, the law on combating human trafficking, the law on fire prevention, fighting, and rescue, along with many others, such as the law on data, the law on public investment, the law on electricity, and the law on juvenile justice. Additionally, several amended and supplemented laws were announced, including the law on securities, the law on accounting, the law on personal income tax. Most of the law will take effect from July the 1st next year, except for the law on public investment and some amended laws, which will take effect from the beginning of the year, while the law on juvenile justice will come into effect in 2026. The Mekong Delta is making impressive strides in exports, with the region's total trade value surpassing $38 billion in early December, marking a 70% increase compared to the same period last year. Now, notably, the region has consistently posted record growth in exports throughout the year. More to follow.
This cold storage company is seeing a notable reduction in inventory. Last year at this time, stock levels were between 70 to 80%, but have now dropped to around 30%.
Products like seafood and frozen fruits, such as dragon fruit and mangoes, have been in high demand, with inventory now down from 6,000 tons to around 2,000 tons. Export activity is thriving.
The Mekong Delta has achieved a trade surplus of over 13 billion USD after 11 months.
Previously, we focused on exporting to Japan, but now we've expanded into high-value products that are reaching other advanced economies.
We continue to call on investors to focus on deep processing of local agricultural products and those from the Mekong Delta, aiming to surpass basic processing and meet the demands of more selective export markets.
With the region's record-high export surplus, the effectiveness of government policies and economic development strategies for the Mekong Delta is becoming increasingly clear.
The online 2025 Trade Union Tate Market officially opened on the website of the Vietnam General Confederation of Labor. The Tate Market was organized with the participation of more than 30 units, organizations, and enterprises. The Confederation has provided financial support to 200,000 union members to buy goods and consumer products on the first day of sale. More to follow.
Excited and happy are the feelings of the workers who participated in the first transactions on the online trade union Tate Market. They can buy many items with discounts from 10 to 70% compared to market prices.
A 10% discount will save us a lot of money. With those savings, we can buy many other items.
200,000 union members with outstanding achievements in labor and production or union members with particular difficulties and low income were given shopping vouchers, each worth $20.
We can only support employees to a certain level. Employees must also be proactive in spending their money wisely to suit themselves.
We have put on the market essential household electrical devices and household appliances at the best prices for workers, with discounts usually from 40 to 70%.
To have a Tate Market with more than 2,000 items at good prices, the Vietnam General Confederation of Labor negotiated with suppliers for 2 months. That is also part of the plan to take care of workers during Tate. After last year's success, this year's online trade union Tate Market is highly anticipated by workers. Thanks to the support of e-commerce technology, trade union members can still buy goods and products at home.
Businesses are very happy that they can reach more customers. Businesses also decided that when participating in this market, the sale items are sold not for profit.
This online Tate Market has met the wishes of many union members and workers who want to save time of shopping.
Coming up next, Vietnamese military art, a height of wisdom and bravery. An Austrian girl of Vietnamese descent who loves her homeland's islands. Welcome back to VTV News. Over 80 years of building, fighting, and growing, the Vietnam People's Army has always remembered and strove to live up to President Ho Chi Minh's words, complete any task, overcome any difficulty, and defeat any enemy. During the years of resistance to regain national independence, inheriting the tradition of fighting to protect the country over thousands of years of history, Vietnamese military art has risen to new heights with many unique and creative features, embodying wisdom and bravery as evidenced by glorious victories that even opponents had to respect.
Nearly 60 years have passed, but Spencer Matterson still clearly remembers the overwhelming feeling when facing the Vietnamese soldiers in the battle at Binh Dinh in late 1966.
We were totally surprised when they hit us, and they hit us very hard at the beginning. The infantry got up from where they were hiding in the elephant grass outside the perimeter. They got so close to us that we couldn't use our artillery on them, because if we did, we'd be bringing our artillery in on ourselves.
From the early days of participating in the Vietnam War, with overwhelming power in terms of modern weaponry and equipment, the U.S. military caused significant damage to Vietnamese forces. However, this advantage was quickly neutralized by the Vietnamese soldiers with a unique tactic: grab their belts to fight them.
Grab their belts to fight them refers to close-quarters combat tactics, which is an unprecedented strategy. In such close combat, where the two forces are interlocked, the U.S. force cannot rely on air support, as doing so would cause casualty to both forces.
Once we surrounded them, trying to inflict as many combat casualties as possible, but they were very clever, and they would usually get away without suffering too many casualties.
Innovative tactics like these played a very important role in the early stages of the resistance against the Americans, affirming that the Vietnamese soldiers could completely defeat a regular army equipped with far superior weaponry.
They could really take on the Americans that way. The fact that they were there was the first surprise for everybody, I think. But it was the sheer bravery and the sense of purpose that they were that dedicated.
The art of Vietnamese military strategy throughout both wars of resistance was the creative and flexible application of both position and force to compel the enemy to fight on their terms. Even in direct confrontation, they received the following praise.
I would give anything to have 200 of them under my command. They are dedicated, and they're the finest soldiers I've ever seen.
Also, in celebration of the 80th anniversary of the Vietnam People's Army and the 35th anniversary of the All People National Defense Day, an art event took place at the Thăng Long Imperial Citadel in Hanoi on Thursday. The citizens enjoyed spectacular performances by Vietnam's military bands and those of other countries in the region.
Hundreds of musicians from the Vietnam People's Army Military Band, the Vietnam People's Police, and military bands from Laos, Cambodia, China, Malaysia, and Myanmar created a spectacular night with meticulously staged musical performances. The parade along the nearby streets was the most impressive and highly anticipated part. Hundreds of people arrived early to await the parade.
Everyone was excited. People stopped on the streets to wait for the parade to pass by. The emotions were indescribable, especially when the Vietnamese bands passed. We were all filled with pride for our nation's army.
The performances were all meticulously prepared. I felt they truly inspired a sense of national pride.
The captivating performances created a vibrant atmosphere and left a strong impression of the participating country's culture, people, and heritage. This exchange is a platform to promote Vietnam and its people to international friends, particularly within ASEAN. It also fosters mutual understanding and trust and strengthens solidarity and friendship among the armed forces of participating nations.
In an encouraging step toward modernizing public transport, 17 electric bus routes were launched on Friday morning in Ho Chi Minh City. These buses will soon connect seamlessly to Metro Line 1, where it begins operation on December the 22nd, creating a more efficient and eco-friendly travel network.
The fleet consists of 150 electric buses, featuring two types of vehicles, 30-seat and 60-seat models, with eye-catching yellow and green designs. These buses will run daily from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m., covering routes that range from 4 to 20 kilometers. The service hours are perfectly aligned with those of Metro Line 1. Ticket prices range from 5,000 to 6,000 VND for regular passengers and 3,000 VND for students. Additionally, the first month of service is free for everyone.
We have set up charging stations along National Highway number 13 and Hanoi Highway. We plan to leverage these bus stations and available land for additional charging points.
Alongside the 17 electric bus routes, 44 existing routes also connect to stations along Metro Line 1 from Binh Thanh to Suoi Tien.
Going forward, we will continue expanding smaller bus routes to connect residential areas with major roads. This will gradually improve transportation accessibility, reduce congestion, and enhance environmental quality.
Among the 150 new electric buses, around 115 are 30-seat models, specifically designed for narrow roads leading into residential neighborhoods. Each bus is also equipped with advanced safety features.
Cà Mau Marine Protected Area and a workshop on solutions to promote establishing new marine protected areas in Vietnam were launched on Friday morning. The Department of Fisheries Surveillance organized the launch ceremony in coordination with the Cà Mau's People's Committee. Cà Mau's Marine Protected Area covers an area of 27,000 hectares, including the sea and the island clusters. Cà Mau is one of Vietnam's 4 key fishing grounds. However, over the years, resources has been increasingly depleted. Along with the implementation of regulations on prohibiting overexploitation, the establishment of the Marine Protected Area demonstrates the province's determination to conserve and restore aquatic resources and ensure sustainable development for local fishery industries. There is an Austrian Vietnamese girl who returned to her homeland, Vietnam, after more than 20 years of separation and fell in love with the pristine beauty of Con Đảo Islands. With the desire to explore and reconnect with her roots, Kaylee Nguyễn Thị Thu Hương decided to stay and do meaningful things for her homeland.
My name is Kaylee Nguyễn Thu Hương. I left Vietnam when I was 10 years old to go with my mom to Austria. We lived there for over 20 years already. Now with my husband, I just decided to move back to Vietnam because when I left Vietnam, I didn't get to learn much about Vietnam or see much about Vietnam. So now that I'm an adult, I want to go back to Vietnam and travel and see and learn more about the culture, about the people and the language itself as well. Con Đảo it was a lucky strike. We got stuck here and fell in love with the island.
Living on the Con Đảo Islands, in addition to working as a tour guide, Hương and her husband, Jürgen, frequently participate in volunteer activities for a sustainable green Con Đảo.
There's a lot of nets and ropes just washing to the shore like this. We try and collect the ones that are good to turn them into recycled bags like this.
In addition to contributing to cleaning the marine environment, Hương and her husband also run several free English classes, helping the people of Con Đảo Islands feel more confident when communicating with foreign tourists.
Everyone here is very enthusiastic and friendly. The class has many students with about 16 to 17 people divided into 3 to 4 groups. There are some foreigners who help us improve our listening skills and pronunciation.
The group also joins the volunteer team for rubbish collection and organizing this class. I also participate in the community class, which meets once a week, and I have learned a lot of new knowledge. Interacting with foreigners, talking and exchanging experiences is very helpful.
And I was lucky enough to fall in love with a Vietnamese girl, but as soon as we came to see places like Con Đảo in Vietnam, it became clear to me that this is my second home now, and this is where I want to build a life with my wife.
Coming up next in our world news, Thailand hosts regional talks on Myanmar's situation. and suspect in Russian general's assassination charged with terrorism. Thailand on Thursday hosted a meeting on Myanmar, along with 5 neighboring countries, including China, India, Bangladesh, Laos, and Thailand. Speaking to the media on the same day, Thai Foreign Minister Marish Sangyam-Bongsa said that during the meeting, Myanmar's military government's top diplomat, Tuan Sui, informed the neighboring countries of plans to hold elections next year, including the possibility of inviting foreign election observers. Thai officials affirmed that the ASEAN's 5-point consensus peace plan will remain central to regional efforts to end Myanmar's conflict. According to a statement released by the Chinese Foreign Ministry on Friday, China affirmed its support for Myanmar's sovereignty and urged all parties within the nation to engage in dialogue and consultation to address differences. Russian authorities have pressed terrorism charges against a man suspected of killing the top Russian general in a bomb attack. Akhmet Kubanov, who is said to be a citizen of Uzbekistan, reportedly faces 3 charges of murder, arms trafficking, and terrorism in the killing of Lieutenant General Igor Kirilov. Russian investigators said Kubanov had admitted to mounting an explosive device on the scooter and streaming the attack to organizers in the Ukrainian city of Dnipro from a rented car parked nearby. He was allegedly promised $100,000 to carry out the attack, as well as the possibility to settle in a European country. China kept its main benchmark lending rates unchanged on Friday, as Beijing faces the challenge of bolstering economic growth while backstopping a weakening yuan. The People's Bank of China maintained the 1-year loan prime rate at 3.1% and the 5-year loan prime rate at 3.6%. The 1-year rate primarily impacts corporate and households borrowing, while the 5-year rate serves as a reference for mortgage lending. Both rates remain at record low, following early reductions in July and October. Recent economic data from China shows the country is still dealing with persistent inflation, weak consumer demand, and a protracted property market slump. Tawana Looney, who developed kidney failure following a complication during her pregnancy, became one of the most recent patients to undergo a xenotransplant after receiving a kidney from a pig. More details in the following story.
The surgery was performed at NYU Langone Health in New York City under Dr. Robert Montgomery, a leader in the field of xenotransplantation. The kidney, sourced from a pig that underwent 10 specific gene edits to increase compatibility and reduce rejection risks, was developed by VTV4, part of United Therapeutics Corporation.
For Tawana, we used a pig that has 10 gene edits, 4 knockouts, and 6 human transgenes, or genes that basically where we put a human gene into the pig genome.
On November 25, 2024, Tawana underwent a 7-hour surgery, and after 11 days of careful monitoring, she was stable enough to be discharged.
Kidney worked right away, and she's doing extremely well, and we're now a week out. Today is 1 week. She has a normal creatinine, which reflects normal renal function. She feels great, and she'll probably go home in 2 or 3 days.
Tawana's doctors detected a blood clot in the kidney after she was discharged, but were able to flush that out with fluids. She's staying in the hospital for a few days, so doctors can administer an additional anti-rejection medication, but her kidney seems to continue function well.
And up next is the weather forecast. And that's the end of VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can download VTVgo from App Store or Google Play, or visit our YouTube channel at VTV4Go. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again at 3 p.m. local time.